How's it going, everyone? B. Kaimana here. Another year with more great games played, and unfortunately, still a lot of jobs in the industry lost. But what a great year of games that were released. Heck, we even had the release of Nintendo's new generation, and while there are still plenty of issues with it, I've been enjoying my time with the system and its current games. And just being able to play old games at better resolutions and frame rates has been great. I still really wanted to play this year's big game, Expedition 33, which won Game of the Year, and also pretty much every other award it was nominated for. But hopefully next year. I already had plenty of other great games that I got to play through this year. Believe me when I say, I thought last year's list was difficult to rank. That was nothing compared to this year's selection. Heck, just like with the Game Awards, I even had to make a cutoff because there are still games coming out as of writing that I really wish I would be able to include, such as Kirby Air Riders, Metroid Prime 4, and Unbeatable, which unfortunately I wasn't able to play because it got delayed. So, let's get on with it. As always, be wary of any spoilers for any of the games I talk about, and know that this list is my opinion of what I played this year. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed Fast RMX back when it released during the launch of the original Switch. Once again, Shin'en have come with a new racing game to coincide with the launch of the Switch 2. The only issue this time is, instead of Mario Kart releasing 2 months after the launch of the new system, this time Fast Fusion needs to compete with the brand new Mario Kart releasing at the same time. Who will win, the $20 indie game or the $80 launch title? Well, this is at the bottom of the list for a reason. This game is at least able to differentiate itself from Mario Kart with its extreme speed and style. Speeding through each of the tracks while narrowly avoiding obstacles or trying to access some of the alternate routes has always been fun in the first game, and continues to be with this one. The environments and vehicles still look and control great. Then there's the new gimmick with this one, the fusion system. The amount of different fusion options is great for variety, but it is annoying that if you want to use a vehicle for a fusion and it's already in a fusion already, then you need to unfuse it from that fusion. Makes it especially annoying if one player wants to use a vehicle for one fusion, while another player wants to use it for a different fusion. Finally, the one thing that really hurts this game from being ranked higher than any of the other racing games, where's the online mode? It was something that was available back on Fast RMX, even though the servers are completely dead now. So, not sure why there's none here. I guess it has the game share option. I don't think anyone would really say that is equivalent to an actual online mode. At least in the absence of online, the other single player modes are still fun, but basic in comparison to other racers. You have your standard time trials as well as what they call a super mode, which is basically a mirror race and you gotta make sure not to crash. This definitely is the weakest of the racing games I played this year, but it's still fun. Now, Nintendo, all you need to do is let this team make a new F-Zero game. Well, I was really hoping this and its prequel were finally going to get a remaster on the Switch, but Prime 4 is finally coming soon, so guess time to hook up the Wii U. I do definitely miss Prime Remastered's improved graphics. It would be pretty helpful for these games, but I do now understand the love shooters had back on the Wii. It took some time to get acquainted to everything, but being able to easily target, move, and look around was great. The game starts off with some great first impressions, with this also being a big release when it came out on the Wii. The game has a much more epic and cinematic feel than the other two do, immediately introducing voice acting to the game and other characters to interact with. I'd also say the prologue is as good as the first Prime game, with the attack on Noria and letting Samus get to see what the other bounty hunters are capable of, also including a great fight with Ridley and the return of Dark Samus. After that, we then get to one of the game's weakest aspects. the different areas. While they are fun to explore, everything just feels like it is shrunk down compared to the other two, and everything doesn't feel as connected. While it does make sense, since there are different planets this time. I do still enjoy exploring these areas. Skytown is a new favorite area for the Prime series for me. The smaller size at least makes getting from one section of the map to another easier, especially when you activate more spots where Samus's ship can land. One great change this game has compared to the other two is with the item hunt at the end, because you don't need to get all of them this time. This time, the hunt for all the batteries needed to explore the remains of the Valhalla, where each of the batteries are used to open doors to explore more and find different additional upgrades, as well as get an important item to access the end of the game. And this time, a lot of the batteries are found just by playing through the game. You can find more by going through alternate paths and being perceptive, but you only need half of them to get to the endgame item. Each of the fights with the bounty hunters are also a fun time, with each one properly becoming more and more challenging. The phase-on beasts at the end of each planet are also fun. But one thing that really ruins some of the challenge is this game's new mechanic, the overdrive mode. While it is balanced early on by consuming a lot of your health to access it, and later on it becomes a ticking time bomb if you don't use enough energy, but the damage it gives, the amount of health pickups you can collect while you're in it, and the time bomb essentially becoming a way to keep the mode active for longer, all makes it a bit too strong. The final section of the game is also very fun, but feels a bit too quick. It does make sense that it's this quick since they removed the ability to save once you start the endgame. A cool story idea, but very much limits how long you can make it. And then you get one final fight with Dark Samus, and then the corrupted Aurora unit. I feel like they should have flipped those two around, or at least finished with one more duel with Dark Samus after the Aurora unit is finished. It also feels a bit anticlimactic that you don't get to escape the planet like in so many other Metroid games. Metroid Prime 3 was a fun time altogether, but I do wonder how its prequel stands up to this one. After 11 years of waiting, we finally have a new Mario Kart. So, why does it feel a little melancholic? Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed this game. The track selection's fantastic and the new mechanics allow for some insane shortcuts. But then there's the open world. It's definitely a unique addition that sets the game apart from the others. It reminds me of Double Dash, where you can see other tracks in the background. Except now that concept is everywhere. The open world is packed with challenges, peach medals, and panels hidden around the courses. Many of these are even able to help players practice new techniques, which is great, but before a recent update, there's no way to track what you've found or completed. A simple checklist would have been nice, especially since other Nintendo games with tons of collectibles already do this. And honestly, I'm not sure how motivated I am to collect everything when the reward is just stickers. Customizing your vehicle could have been fun, but you only get to place one sticker in a specific spot. Two other racing games already learned from this mistake. One of them is even made by Nintendo. The new mechanics, wall riding and rail grinding, open up so many creative shortcuts. It feels like the wild days of Mario Kart Wii all over again. The original tracks are great, and returning ones are solid choices. Many of these returning tracks have gotten some major changes as well. And it's great that we've now gotten Wario Stadium to escape Mario Kart 64. One big surprise was with Sky High Sunday. It feels like it was made for this game. Then brought to Tour, then to 8, so now it finally gets to shine. And then there's this game's Rainbow Road. What a masterpiece. It feels like a grand combination of all previous Rainbow Roads, elevated even further. It's the finale this game deserves. Driving between courses in the open world can be fun, sometimes, but the intermission tracks, they're one of the game's weakest points, honestly. I don't hate them as much as other people seem to do online, but they're definitely weaker than the main tracks. It was fine when online play let you easily pick a 3-lap track by clicking the random button, but then Nintendo changed that. They have improved it with updates, which is good, but players still want a bit more control. It'd be nice if they had a for fun or for glory mode like Smash, or Ultimate's preferred settings. It would go a long way to fix that issue. Quick edits. While working on this video, version 1.4 dropped in. Wow, some big changes, especially for intermission tracks to Koopa Beach. They're way more dynamic now. I wonder if this will happen to other intermissions, or if the ocean setting made this possible. At least selectable items are finally here, but why wasn't that in at launch? Especially after how popular it was back in 8? One thing the open world did give us is this game's best new mode, Knockout Tour. Racing from track to track against other players is a blast. My only wish, let us create our own tours. Right now there are only 7 preset tours, but imagine the possibilities with a custom mode. Moving on to characters, the roster in this game is just huge. We've got the classics, plus costumes, and even enemies and NPCs like Piranha Plant, Goomba, and, yes, Cow. It's a fun variety, but the costume system feels a bit clunky. Why does each costume have its own spot on the select screen? Why not let us choose after picking a character? And where are the color options for characters like Shy Guy, Yoshi, Birdo, or Pianta? And also, why do DK and Paulina only get one costume? And seriously, where's Diddy Kong? Okay, those last two could possibly be tied to any kind of Donkey Kong Bonanza themed DLC, but if there's one area in this game has perfected, it's the music. So many incredible remixes from across the Mario franchise. But why isn't there a jukebox to pick what you want to listen to? It's wild. There's so much I love about this game, but also plenty of negatives. Some issues have been fixed, but for a game that took this long to release and costs $80, many of these updates should have been there from day one. Will we get major new content soon, or will it drip out like the booster course pass years later? Who knows? All in all, it feels great to finally play a new Mario Kart game, even if other racing games stole some of its thunder this year.
We all know that kart racing game. It's great. We don't need to show it to you. But what if you can blast through and race on a whole nother level? Or what if you want to roam around on the open road?
Man, Sega really brought back the console war energy with this one. They knew they were cooking something special to challenge Mario Kart. Honestly, I never thought I'd pick a Sonic racing game over Mario Kart, especially after Team Sonic Racing. But somehow Sega learned from past mistakes and delivered something great. The racing feels fantastic, with plenty of vehicle options and full customization, something Mario Kart World removed. It's awesome to see Extreme Gear return as well. While it doesn't play exactly like it did back in Riders, it offers a drift-focused playstyle that reminds me of the Mario Kart DS snaking days. On top of that, the gadget system adds even more customization, letting players tailor to their playstyle, such as focusing on ring collection for speed boosts, prioritizing drifting, or leaning into different character archetypes. The options are pretty much endless. The item selection is also fun and definitely comparable to Mario Kart's lineup. The monster truck acts like a mega mushroom, Ghost is your blue shell, and the boxing gloves and rockets fill the green and red shell roles. A nice twist is the inclusion of more defensive items though, like the shields that offer full protection or the tornadoes that also deal some damage with it as well. Gadgets even affect item usage, such as favoring certain items, starting the race with certain items, or even unlocking third item slots and being able to swap items like in Double Dash. The track selection is also excellent, featuring plenty of original tracks and tracks inspired by other games. Oddly, there aren't many based on the classic Sonic titles, which feels strange given how often these stages are referenced elsewhere, but also a little refreshing in other ways. And as always, Sonic nails the music. Some standout remixes include Rooftop Run, Dragon Road, White Space, and Kronos Island. Plus, unlike Mario Kart, this game has a jukebox. You can listen to every track and even assign songs or playlists to specific laps. One of the game's biggest selling points is the Crossworlds mechanic. Mid-race, you switch to a completely different track on lap 2, then return to a remixed version of the original track for lap 3. It keeps races fresh and unpredictable, adding tons of replayability. You might know a track inside out, but then the Crossworld can throw you off completely. One feature I wish was expanded on more was in the final race of the Grand Prix. It combines all 3 tracks from the Cup. I wish this was an option that was available for normal gameplay or even online. It would pretty much be recreating Mario Kart World's Knockout Tour in this game. Wonder if we'll get that as an update someday, who knows. Single player offerings are also solid, with staples such as Grand Prix and time trials, and this game's specific feature, the Play Park, which brings back Team Sonic Racing's team focus. A small but delightful touch throughout the game is there's plenty of character interactions during Grand Prix races. It's been ages since we've seen some of these characters, and hearing their banter is great. The downside, DLC characters don't have voice lines, which is disappointing. Speaking of DLC, Sega's approach is pretty neat. There's going to be plenty of free DLC characters from throughout Sega's catalogs, like Miku, Joker, and we're even getting Tangle and Whisper from the IDW comics. The paid DLC also brings some interesting choices. Steve, Pac-Man, and Mega Man, yeah, video game icons, those all make sense. But then we're also getting Nickelodeon characters like SpongeBob, Aang, and the Ninja Turtles. It's a bit strange, but Paramount and Sonic do have a decent amount of connection with Paramount making the movies. So far, the DLC tracks that have been added so far have been pretty fun to play through. Very excited to see what the other characters' tracks will be like. The Dr. Wily stage looks really fun. Also, with each character added, they have a festival to celebrate their release. These offer team races similar to the Play Park for online play, with the ability to unlock new accessories, but with the downside of removing normal online races from the game during the time period, which can be a bit annoying. Very excited to see whoever the other characters that will be added end up being, and I'm interested to see if they have more characters planned after this first year. Overall, Sonic's latest racing venture is a triumph. Sonic Crossworlds really has stepped up the game for Sonic's racing series. For now, no other racing games comes close. Sorry, Kirby Air Riders, maybe next year.
It's Sonic Racing, all around the world, faster than ever. Nickel tires burn, your brains are treasure. I'm dreaming of the drive into this racing. Sonic Racing, it's Sonic Racing, all around the world, faster than ever. It's gas every turn, your brains are treasure.
Well, if Prime 3 stumbled some, is Prime 2 able to compare a bit more with the original Metroid Prime? Prime 2 follows Samus as usual, finding another planet that of course has tons of issues to solve again. At least this time she doesn't end up destroying the planet. Kinda. I don't think Aether's as strong as Talon 4, but it's still a good world to explore. Each of the areas are a good time to explore, and each of them are also able to stand out from each other as well. From Agon Waste's deserts to the tech-filled Sanctuary Fortress. This one still has all the areas connected with each other like the first game, unlike 3. Then there's also the Dark World to explore. Pretty much put a purple filter over the game and make everything poisonous. Besides how it looks, I do enjoy how dangerous the area feels and how careful you need to explore it. It is also good that it becomes easier to explore as the game goes on. Pretty much once you get the Dark Suit, it stops becoming a major issue. And, thankfully, doesn't become an issue at all once you start the hunt for the Sky Temple keys. Speaking of, I still really don't like the big hunt for items at the end of this and in the previous game. I am still thankful that Prime 3 fixed that. I really hope this is not something that 4 has, or at least makes it a bit more clear that there's something that will need to be done, or make it like 3's where it's very easy to pick up the items just by playing the game. I will say, it was definitely easier to find these compared to the first games. Once I found the first one just by accident, I definitely started to make notes on where the others could be, and I actually ended up being correct on a majority of them. The majority of the bosses are also just okay, except for when it comes to the game's new menace, Dark Samus. Each of the fights with them are a great time that keeps introducing new moves to deal with. The temple bosses are also a main highlight, with my personal favorite being Quadraxis. One small thing with the rest of the bosses, why are the majority of the bosses just named name of the item you get, Guardian? Just feels a little lazy. I would definitely say I prefer Prime 2 over 3. Don't know if that's a popular opinion, but it's mine. It feels a lot closer to the original game than Prime 3 did. And while there are still some great improvements in Prime 3 compared to 2, I think it lost too much of what I enjoy from the Prime games. I am still very happy that I have now finished up with this trilogy, just in time for Metroid Prime 4 to release. I hope it's able to live up to
survival. But you're also not sitting next to Phil anymore in that cubicle, so... Win?
Oh. That could be an issue. When Hollow Knight first came out, it definitely took some time for me to get into it. I'd only picked it up a few times until finally starting to get into Metroidvanias after playing through all the 2D Metroid games leading up to Metroid Dread. Then, after finally realizing how great the genre is, I decided to play through Hollow Knight. I liked it, but I don't think I was wowed like everyone else. Maybe it's because I only beat the Hollow Knight and didn't do any of the other DLC bosses or content. Maybe one day I'll go back for those, but today is not that day, because Silksong has finally released. I still really like it. Well, just like with Hollow Knight, I've only gotten the bad ending, and still have a lot more to explore. But compared to Hollow Knight, I still really enjoy going through the world and seeing what there is to find. But honestly, I'm still not sure if I should be ranking this game at the moment because of it. If it's anything like I've seen for Hollow Knight's additional content, there's still so much left to do. The gameplay's had a very good improvement over the original game. Well, it starts off a bit similar, Once getting abilities like the dash or different movesets to utilize, that really make the combat feel a lot more fun. The environments continue to look so beautiful in some, and very ominous in others. All the characters you can meet throughout the world have always been fun to interact with, and it's also nice that, unlike the last game where the knight was silent, Hornet actually gets to talk with each of these characters. One thing I felt was discussed a lot when the game first came out was the difficulty. I mean, it was definitely difficult, but I wouldn't say that it was unsurprisingly so. Some bosses are able to be finished easily by some players, while taking others plenty of time to beat, and that can be different across different bosses. I know for me, the Scarguard mini-boss, the Savage Beastfly, and the Conductor's Melody enemy rush were extremely difficult for me, but it was still fun to keep trying each run. Even with all the difficult bosses, there are still so many great ones throughout the game. Lace in both of the fights with her was always a great challenge, and Trobio is probably still my favorite boss in the game so far. I also still love all the different challenges that you have to face throughout the game. One in particular was the climb up Mount Fae to get the game's double jump. It was essentially a challenge room focused on speeding through the area to be able to reach different save points to survive the goal. It kind of felt a bit similar to Metroid Prime 2 having to get to the safe spots in the Dark World. Maybe next year I'll re-rank this game if I have more thoughts on the rest of the content that I need to play through. Maybe I should also replay Hollow Knight and actually finish everything, then do the same thing for Silksong. I'm still so happy for everyone that has been waiting for this game for such a long time. It's finally out and it seems plenty of people have been loving it. And I am excited to see what Team Cherry has planned next. I think I finally understand the love for Dark Souls. This has easily become my favorite of FromSoft's titles so far. The combat feels so much faster and more fluid than ever, and the world design continues to amaze. The graphical leap from the first two games to Dark Souls 3 is just incredible. The true power difference between Xbox 360 remasters and a PS4 game is really night and day. Surprisingly, there weren't many areas I disliked. Even this game's Poison Swamp wasn't awful. One standout location is definitely the Boreal Valley. An amazing atmosphere, memorable enemies, fantastic bosses, and yes, Estus Soup. The only area I really did not enjoy was Irithyll Dungeon. Just too many jump scares and enemies that decrease your maximum health. My only real gripe is with the hub area of Firelink Shrine. It just feels disconnected from the rest of the world. In the original Firelink Shrine and Majula, the hub felt like a central point that connected everything rather than just teleporting everywhere. As usual, still don't fully grasp the story, but I think I understood it more than in the previous two games. Formula is still mostly the same. Defeat the key bosses in specific regions, then face off against the big bad. I know the real lore is buried in item descriptions, but unless I'm deeply invested, I'm not reading all that. Thankfully, I have a friend who fills me in on important stuff. I do appreciate how this one does tie back to the first game a bit more. There are plenty of great callbacks, such as Firelink Shrine returning as the hub, getting to revisit an Orlando, and hearing Gwyn's theme during the final boss. Speaking of bosses, now that I've finished the trilogy, time to rank my 10 favorite boss fights. Let's start with the good old Gargoyles, the first boss that truly teaches you what Dark Souls is about. The Looking Glass Knights. Just a unique location and a fun gimmick. Burnt Ivory King. Really cool concept where you can kind of choose the difficulty depending on how many knights you bring to face off against them. The Abyss Watchers. Honestly, it's pretty fun watching them fight each other, and then you get a great 1v1 fight. Gundyr. Easily the best first boss across all the games, and he even gets to come back later. Ornstein and Smo. Still one of the best 2v1 fights in the series. Pontiff Sullivan. The boss that caused so many deaths. The Nameless King. Still crazy how such an amazing boss is optional. Sister Freed. Great first phase, annoying second phase. Oh god, there's a third. And then finally, in first place, the Covetous Demon! Hands of applause, everyone! Still one of the best fights in the game, and a great surprise. Oh, and it's already dead. Shoot, gotta figure out something else for number 1. Screw it, Artorias. Still one of the best fights, especially in Dark Souls 1, and really was a glimpse of what future fights would be like. Can't wait to fight him again in Night Rain soon. Boss fights still remain my favorite part of these games, and Dark Souls 3 really improved on the previous two. The faster pace is exactly what I wanted. I've even started to get a small glimpse of what the future will be with Night Rain, and while I know Night Rain is much faster compared to Elden Ring, as long as the speed feels close to Dark Souls 3, I'll be happy. Another improvement that I've noticed with this game? Runbacks after dying. Most bosses have bonfires nearby, making retries far less frustrating. There are a few exceptions, but overall it's a huge quality of life upgrade. Funny enough, I stuck with the Twin Blade Sellswords from my starting build and just kept upgrading them. I was not aware of how strong they'd become. It is weird that they did remove the option to upgrade armor. It does make trying to play Fashion Souls a little bit harder. Now that I've finished the trilogy, I can confidently say that I am a Souls fan now. I can't wait to try out more in the future. Very excited to start Sekiro next year, and I'm also very excited for the Duskbloods and to continue playing through Night Rain. And maybe, just maybe, I won't die as much in these next games. I've mentioned in previous rankings that I'm a big fan of the Xenoblade franchise. X on the Wii U was actually my first step into the series. Seeing this game run on a Nintendo console back then felt incredible, but it definitely had issues back on the Wii U. For starters, tiny text was a nightmare, collectibles were frustrating, especially for quests, and party management was very annoying. You had to go to each character's location to add them, and they also wouldn't level up while they were inactive. Honestly, I never finished the game back on the Wii U. I only made it to around chapter 5 or 6, I think. For years, I kept hoping a Switch port would come. Eventually, I decided to start a new playthrough on the Wii U. And then, a week later, the definitive edition was announced. Talk about some perfect timing. It still blows my mind seeing this game run on the Switch, a console that's a fraction of the Wii U size. Mirror remains one of my favorite open worlds to explore, with its diverse regions and countless scenic spots. The sense of progression is also fantastic. Starting on foot, making everything feel massive and distant, then unlocking the scale, and later its flight mode, completely changes that experience, opening up areas you couldn't reach before. Even wandering around NLA is fun, despite the cars you can still phase through. And of course, the soundtrack elevates everything. This was my first introduction to Hiroyuki Sawano, and I've loved his work since, from Attack on Titan to Solo Leveling, and this year's personal favorite, To Be Hero X. Sorry, not an anime ranking. Let's get back to the games. Combat feels great, sticking close to Xenoblade 1's art system. I love the variety of classes and arts you can unlock, and the ability to mix and match weapons after mastering classes adds so much depth. One standout addition in the definitive edition is Quick Charge, easily one of my new favorite RPG features. It's incredibly useful for soul voices and can get pretty broken once you stack enough charges of it. Overdrive is also a great change from the rest of the series' chain attack system, and can become extremely broken, especially with the usage of Quick Charge. I do wish there was the option to turn off the Overdrive music though, because, well, it's a good song. I do also like some of the other music that plays during battle. Finally, finishing the story was great. Even though I had been spoiled by big twists like the cliffhanger ending and Lao's betrayal, still, I enjoyed the journey. This time, I dove into plenty of the side quests and affinity missions, which are packed with plenty of lore and surprisingly dark moments. Some people ending themselves, people turning into monsters, and even racism? Xenoblade has always been one of Nintendo's more mature franchises, but some of these themes still shock me. While the story is probably my least favorite of the Xenoblade series, that's mainly because the other three are still among the best RPG narratives out there. Something has to take last place. As for the rest of the new definitive edition content, the added party members are great, especially Lysel, and cruise mode for flight, making it even more fun to explore around the world. This new story content is solid. I really do enjoy Ao, but the villain is a little underwhelming at first. It does seem like there might be some connections with him and Zed from Xenoblade 3, which also, it's cool seeing X tie into the rest of the Xenoblade universe. Though, it's a bit bittersweet knowing that if we do get an X2, likely we won't get a Beyond Mirror anymore. Lao's role also surprised me too, with him being in the end credit of the original game. I was hoping there was some way he could rejoin the party, but unfortunately that didn't seem to be the case. The new area, unfortunately, is the weakest part. Visually, it feels pretty bland and easy to get lost in. On the bright side, it is really nice that they got the majority of the English cast to return, with Fandom being the only clear recast that had to happen. Could this hint at more Xenoblade X in the future? I hope so. This isn't my favorite Xenoblade game, but its unique features will keep me coming back. And now with all the Xenoblade games playable on one console, all we need is the Xenogears and Xenosaga games to make a comeback.
So I said everything about you. Can't stop myself. Something just begun. Tell me what I think about you. Don't go away. I will wait for you.
If you don't know, I am a big fan of Warriors games, especially Hyrule Warriors. So, when a new one was announced that was going to be related to Tears of the Kingdom, I became very excited. I loved Age of Calamity, but felt a little betrayed about them saying that it would be a canon story, and it very much was not that. Thankfully, Age of Imprisonment has not done this. Changed a few things around to work properly? Absolutely. But it is definitely still canon. The gameplay feels extremely similar to Calamity. Very much not a bad thing. But compared to other Warriors games, there never was a character that immediately clicked with me. Characters like Impa in both games, Spearlink, Ganondorf, and Sidon all became favorites immediately once I started playing as them. No one in this game really got that for me. But I would say all the characters are all equally pretty good. And as with all Warriors games, they get better with each of their upgrades. There is a small downside because there haven't been any characters that feel like they have different playstyles, such as Young Link or the Great Fairies from the previous games. The closest ones are mainly the other two Gerudo, Shalani and Ronza, who have a timing mechanic for their attacks. That's the only unique character mechanic I've seen in this game. The new big gameplay mechanic I really like about this game are the sync moves. They allow for some fun, unique options with each of the characters, and always allow for extremely strong attacks, even kind of making special moves less useful. There's also a small change of the Sheikah slate from Age of Calamity being changed to the Zonai devices and character skills. The character skills are at least a fun way to differentiate the characters a bit more, with plenty of fun attacks. Then there's also the Zonai weapon, which are especially great with the elemental weakness system in the game, and can be very overpowered. And thankfully, the battery system also helps balance them out some. The roster is definitely interesting. It's kind of what I thought Age of Calamity's roster was going to be at first, before we actually found out what the story was like. It's pretty much main story characters, our new buddies that get introduced, and then a bunch of random people. I do wonder if there will be any other unlockable characters once I'm closer to 100%ing the game. I think there is a chance, because there is a pretty clear empty spot in the character select screen. Sonya makes the most sense since she already has sync moves at the beginning of the game, but maybe also Ganondorf or the Dark Construct could also become playable. As for the story, we finally get the sad ending we were expecting with Age of Calamity. It is great to finally see what the other stages were like, instead of just retelling the same
Demon Ring? Secret Stone?
story back in Tears of the Kingdom. It's also great that we do get to see more of Rauru and Minoru. I was thinking we would get to see a bit more of Sonya, but then the imprisoning war started much sooner than I expected. Calamo and the Construct have also easily become two of my favorite characters that a Warriors game has introduced. Also, I was incorrect. Calamo is not the Great Deku Tree. He's apparently the ancient tree stump, which, with the new Zelda Notes feature they added for the Switch 2 editions of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, they even added dialogue that there was an ancient spear found in it. I was expecting that we were going to get a group of bosses like the Archfiends, although I wasn't expecting that they were going to have at least some character. Definitely more than the Blights did in Age of Calamity, which they were pretty much exactly the same from Breath of the Wild. The Archfiends at least have some character in the cutscenes, and especially in the dialogue boxes during combat, although some of them do have some annoying attack patterns. All in all, I really do enjoy that this was able to follow the story that we already knew from Tears of the Kingdom, but still be able to introduce plenty of new elements that were able to enhance the story even more. Rauru now interacting with the Construct and it being powered by just a shard of the Master Sword makes part of his final moments work so much more now that he knows what that weapon is capable of. As usual with Warriors games, there's still plenty of content in the game. With a similar map like Age of Calamity, with plenty of stages to play through, upgrades to unlock, and services to level up characters and weapons. One change is that some areas need to be unlocked through specific quests, and occasionally areas can be taken back by Ganondorf's forces. This is at least a cool way to have a small little countdown, but most of those stages are pretty quick to finish and become a bit repetitive. One big addition are the side quests, essentially just little achievements you can try to complete throughout other stages. It all end with additional dialogue piece with each of the characters. It's fun trying to find character choices for each stage that are able to finish up as many of these quests at the same time. One small annoyance I've had with this is that it feels like there are very few Zonite shards and weapons that are unlocked, and it makes it very difficult to level up weapons. It's also weird that there's only one character that is use of bow shards. But even with its issues, I still very much plan to 100% this one, just like I did with Age of Calamity and the first release of Hyrule Warriors. Hopefully one day I'll 100% Definitive Edition. Now, all I really want next from Koei Tecmo is a Xenoblade Warriors game. It has been a long time since DK has gotten a great new 3D game. Although, I still haven't been able to play his last one. Please, just add it to Nintendo Classics already. But I was not ready for how great Donkey Kong Bonanza was going to be. Originally, I wasn't even certain if I was even going to get the game, but after its dedicated direct, I was sold. Even if that direct wasn't there, once I heard a lot of Mario Odyssey's team was working on it, I figured it was going to be a pretty good experience. It's been a long time since I've played a game like this, where whenever I'm heading for a main goal, I can so easily get sidetracked, finding another banana or fossil, or just simply wanting to destroy something. The controls were also great, with pretty much having 3 different punch buttons set to which direction they are on the controller as well. The movement's also a great standout with the game, just like in Mario Odyssey. Then there's the big addition to this game, the Bonanza transformations. Each of these allow for tons of great options for increased speed from Zebra or Ostrich's gliding ability. Then there are even all the improvements you can get through the skills tree, from new techniques or enhancing others you already have. Each of the layers to explore throughout the game are also a great time. They also make great use of each of the transformations. There are plenty of things to explore and find throughout the game, like the previously mentioned bananas and fossils, but also fun challenge stages, some of which include great callbacks to the original Country games. There are some layers that definitely aren't as big as others, but they can still be fun to explore and run around. It's even fun using the Elephant Bonanza to just completely destroy each of the layers, looking for banana and fossil locations. And unlike Mario Kart World, this one actually tells you how many bananas there are, and clearly shows which ones you've obtained and which ones you haven't. One big weakness of this game does definitely come down to the bosses. Most of these are pretty easy to deal with, especially with the extra strength of the Kong Bonanza. I do enjoy the new antagonists with this game, with Voidco. All of them are fun inclusions to the DK world and definitely have more character than them compared to the Donkey Kong Country Returns games. The only boss that really gives some difficulty is Void Kong, but it's also the main time the game's performance also suffers as well. Something that has made me enjoy the layers a bit more is the DLC with the new Emerald Rush mode. I don't know who at Nintendo keeps adding roguelike modes into their games. I'm not gonna complain. Starting difficulty is very easy to go through, but with the later difficulties you unlock, it makes for such a great challenge. It really requires you to learn banana and fossil locations for each one. I do wish when it comes to the DLC that DK Island felt a bit more complete. It doesn't even have any bananas or fossils to find unless you're in Emerald Rush mode. The DLC is definitely on the pricier side as well, and with it coming out so soon after the game did, feels like it should have been part of the game, but all I know is I had fun with it. Do I wish I didn't need to pay $20 for it? Absolutely. Do I think I got $20 worth of content? Initially, no, but once I played through more, I'd say so. I can really only recommend this DLC though if you already enjoyed the game a lot and also enjoy roguelike modes. Don't get it if you just want to go to Donkey Kong Island. Then it's not worth it at all. Donkey Kong and Pauline have also become a great duo throughout the game. Pauline's main gameplay thing is just to activate the Bonanza transformations, or use her speedrunning cheese in the 2-player mode. The two of them have such a great bond, and even have fun dialogue whenever you use one of the getaways. Well, Pauline has dialogue. Donkey Kong Bonanza has really felt like the Switch 2's big game for the year, and it is absolutely delivered. I feel like I've heard plenty of people needing a new 3D Mario game next year. Personally, Donkey Kong Bonanza absolutely satisfies everything I wanted from a new 3D Mario for me. So, I can happily wait to see what comes next from the team.
Look at us, so big and small, two together through it all. Heart of gold, a wish come true. You and me, unbreakable.
Holy shit, this game's finale is amazing. King K. Rool returning, followed by the final layer finishing off with a great boss fight. And then, it's not done yet. Gangplank Galleon starts playing. K. Rool's up again, chasing you all the way up to New Donk City. Turns the city into his own, getting one final challenge run that makes use of all the transformations. And then one great final fight against the king. Now that's how you end a game. playing this for over a year and a half, Hades 2 has finally released its 1.0 patch. It's been great playing through this, and thankfully I did play through the early access, because this year was already packed with too many games in the second half of the year. I don't think I would have been able to finish it if I hadn't had a year of practice. Even playing through early access, it was really fun seeing the game evolve. Getting to explore the last 2 layers of the surface run, seeing art for characters get added or improved, and seeing all the small tweaks to damage across the board. This really feels like a Tears of the Kingdom type of sequel, one that carries a good amount from the first one, but adds and changes so many things that now it feels crazy going back to the first one and not having some of these abilities. The new weapons offer great selections, with myself being fans of all the weapons in this game compared to the first, where I really didn't like the adamant rail or the spear. My favorites in this one probably include the staff and the sister blades with the aspect of Morgan. I also really like the change from the Mirror of Night to the Arcana system. It gives a lot more options to test out, especially with having different presets you can make. It's also great that instead of needing darkness to keep unlocking abilities, the game makes use of other items from all the bosses. Then there are all the animal companions, each of which offer different bonuses for runs, and have gotten some fun cosmetic options as well. I also really love the amount of interactions you can have with the other characters during your runs. From Artemis and Icarus helping you out in an encounter, to Nemesis and Heracles challenging you. Then there are all the challenges you can get from the Fear system, pretty much like the original's Heat system, but with some new options. Everything all works together so well that makes me just want to do run after run, including one option that gives the bosses essentially a new mode to fight. I've really enjoyed all the different characters in this game as well. The cast of the Crossroads with Hecate, Odysseus, and Dora. Even each of the bosses are a great time throughout the game. Dealing with Eris is always a time. Never know if it's a good or bad one. I also love the amount of different storylines throughout the game. Getting Narcissus and Echo back together, Arachne and her connections with Hecate and Athena, and so many others. With the full release, I can finally start seeing what was past Kronos and Typhon all this time. And it was great seeing Zagreus start showing up, and Malinoe getting to interact with the gods. It's great getting to see the brother and sister interact with each other, but I wish there was a bit more before dealing with Kronos for the last time. And when you go to the surface, it is nice that sometimes other gods will show up instead of just Zeus being there, such as Demeter. The ending is also a bit strange, with Zagreus sparing Kronos and the two of them getting to go through an alternate reality where they're all happy, and then Malinoe listens to Zagreus and changes everything she had trained most of her life for. It's just a bit weird. At least that's how I think I understood it. Then after the roguelike continues as normal, thankfully, with Kronos now on our side, and since he controls time, it's pretty easy to continue with the status quo. Apparently, in the first update after 1.0 released, they updated the ending as well. I still need to try this updated version, so I'm interested to see what's changed. Well, I don't think the story altogether is as strong as the first Hades. At least all the characters continue to be great. The final very funny coincidence with this game and the previous, and to paraphrase the great Heinz Doofenshmirtz, if I had a nickel for every time a mythological game from Supergiant came out, and around the same time I got into a musical featuring a bunch of the characters from that game, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Epic the Musical kinda was constantly on this year. It's also very fun that, thanks to the musical reminding me, I was able to find some very fun interactions with Odysseus and other characters in the game. There's still a lot I can do in this game. I still need to beat Typhon and Kronos with the Valid Rivals activated, and still need to get Sir Scalamaeus' final trophy unlocked. And I've been even trying to get into speedrunning with this game, which has been a fun challenge. I'm really interested now what Supergiant will be working on after this. Now working on the Hades series for 8 years. All I know is that I'll be there for whatever they come up with next.
Time moves fast, her face designs time past. What came before has come and gone. The moment's yet to come.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the awaited sequel to the remake that turned out not to be a full remake, but just part 1 of a 3-part remake that turned out not to be an actual remake, but more of a reimagining / sequel. God, I love Square Enix. Oh, come on! I'm still so thankful that I've been able to stay away from any spoilers from this game until the PC version released. There are so many surprises and new things to enjoy throughout the game, even with already knowing where the story should end up. The game is also able to fix a lot of issues I had with Remake, being able to explore the wide areas of the planet compared to the cold and cramped feeling of Midgar. Each of the areas have plenty of things to find as well, from new chocobos in each region, Ubisoft towers to climb, and plenty of combat challenges and side quests. Or you can get sucked into this game's amazing new minigame, Queen's Blood, which even offers its own crazy side quest and lore. I'm also very happy that most of the other minigames from the original are here as well, with plenty of new ones. Chocobo Racing still a great time. Very happy that Fort Condor returned from the Integrate DLC. And all the other Gold Saucer games are still such a fun time. This game is one of the few on the list that I went through and 100% pretty much everything I could, and I had a great time with it all. It also feels crazy to finally explore these landmarks in 3D, after seeing them in the original game or Crisis Core for so long. The combat has also received some great improvements, from characters getting new skills and the big introduction of synergy skills. These can be crazy looking combo attacks between two characters, or small supportive or defensive techniques. Thanks to some of the supportive abilities, I feel like I was able to see the characters' different limit breaks much more regularly compared to Remake, where I only really saw their basic limit break. The party management also offers some great choices, such as making Red 13 playable now, bringing over Yuffie from Integrate, and introducing Kate Sith. It's also nice that throughout the game, the party changes some, allowing for plenty of combinations to try out, and figuring out your personal favorite. There are still plenty of amazing boss fights throughout this one as well, plenty of which offer great challenges. I would likely say my favorite characters to play as were Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, who has gotten so many new skills since Remake that has made her one of the strongest characters once you get her set up. We also get the last two members of the party to show up. Unfortunately, they're not playable. Guess I'll need to wait for part 3 to play as them. The music continues to enhance everything. Many of the tracks based off the original are able to use so many of the leitmotifs and main themes in great ways, and intertwine them with plenty of new sections that are able to enhance all the main pieces. This is very clear with good old One-Winged Angel and Aerith's theme being peppered around so many spots of the game. Plenty of the original songs in this game are also great. Even small characters like Gus, who has about 10 minutes of screen time, are able to get an amazing theme. Oh, did I say just one theme? Nah, there's a second phase. And there's even a third phase. They did not need to cook this much with this one character. And, like with Final Fantasy VI, they even included a little mini-play. And we finally get to see the play Loveless that Genesis kept yapping about back in Crisis Core. Now for the story. There are definitely changes and additions from the original, but they've also made sure to follow the original. I was definitely surprised how close it stayed to the original after Remake's ending. I felt like they wanted to do something very different, but they also did something very different, such as Zack back with Cloud and Aerith, Wutai having a new leader that's apparently from Sephiroth's backstory mobile game, Cisne's back from Crisis Core, McGee made the Black Materia and are also aliens, Cloud's a Moogle, where's Rocket Town? Sephiroth following the other versions of Aerith, Red 13 moonwalking!
What in the hell is going on?
It's a lot. I still have no idea where the heck they're going to be going with some of these changes, but I really hope everything is able to come together at the end. Hopefully the next game starts with, or at least somewhere includes, more information from Ever Crisis, especially Sephiroth's backstory. Also, if we are getting DLC, maybe we could get Advent Children or Dirge of Cerberus content? We already got some Dirge of Cerberus in Intergrade. I still can't wait to see how this trilogy will finish up. Hopefully with Square Enix's new stance on multi-platform. Part 3 will release on PC the same day, so I won't need to dodge spoilers for another year. At least before 3 comes out, I should hopefully be able to finish a hard mode playthrough, so I can try out some of the exclusive challenges that are in that playthrough. I still can't believe this remake has finally happened, and never could have guessed that it would have ended up the way it has. But I'm still loving this new trilogy, and it was absolutely my favorite game I played this year.
Till the day that we meet again at our place, just let me believe in the chance that will come. Take my hand and never let me go. Take my hand and believe we can be together Let's end this together. Walking city streets with worn cobblestones, struggling against the crowds and finding ourselves all alone. Fate and destiny are no guarantee. Still, I hope someday
Focus on you, Cloud. The one I've been trying to find. The real you.
Still, I know someday you'll come and find me.
Goodbye.
Even now that the ranking's done, I'm still a bit unsure which is higher between Bonanza and Hades 2. Both of these were absolutely great games, along with pretty much everything else I played this year. I do wish I could have put Silksong higher, but I am very likely going to be playing it and its predecessor again next year, with the new announcements of a Switch 2 edition for Hollow Knight coming, and DLC for Silksong. I will be making sure in these playthroughs to actually complete a lot of the additional content to get their full experiences. I still have too many games from this year that I still need to play through, as mentioned during the intro. I just got Expedition 33 gifted from one of my good friends, so that's definitely happening next year. And who knows what else will be coming out next year. We already have a new Fire Emblem announced that I'm very interested to try out. I do hope next year I can try to start making some more animations again. That's definitely something I missed working on this year compared to last year.
This kid's trying to
Heck,
kill God.
we now even have a new Kingdom Hearts fandom I can make animations for. I also kind of want to try to do an animation based off Epic the Musical. That'd be interesting. Even if my channel never gets a crazy amount of views, this is still something I enjoy working on. But enough about that. I've taken too much of your time already. Thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you all have a happy holidays and an amazing new year.